Good morning. We've got a very special one today. Please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. Today we have had a road trip, or should I say this weekend, from our birthday really. But today we're at a very special place. We're in Bonnie, Scotland, just outside Edinburgh, a wee place called Prestonpans. Now, the 20th of September 1745 was a very, very, very significant event happened at this place. It was a battle against the Jacobite forces and King George's army, led by General John Cope. So,
yes, and the other side was Bonnie Prince Charlie and his men. So yeah, they met up here and had a bit of a scrap. So yeah, so we've come here to have a look.
Yeah, the two forces met on this battlefield at Prestonpans. I'll just give you a quick scan around what it is today. Obviously now a sports field, a sports centre, a running track, trees, and the Firth of Forth in the distance. Edinburgh's over that direction, which you can just see in the distance is Arthur's Seat, round about there I think. We've got the train.
The train line actually marks the area that the British were formed up on, and in that direction Prince Charles' men were facing each other.
Yeah, so the government force was actually facing south, which was quite a big mistake really. To say you've got the Firth of Forth at the back of you, there's not much chance of a retreat, is there? To be honest, unless you're a really good strong swimmer.
Or you've got a boat.
Oh, you've got a boat, yeah. So, the first shots of that day was by the Camerons, which actually, at the back of me, I don't know if I can zoom in on this, I can't. But just up there, there's an old church. Now the churchyard, where the houses are in the distance, is where Bonnie Prince Charlie sent a small skirmishing force, and there was actually holding the high ground back up there. The first shots was by the Camerons, who actually shot down onto the government force. Now to John Cope, or General John Cope, he sent a small party of, what do you call them, like a scouting party across this marshland at the back of me from the Firth of Forth. Now, they was fired upon and they lost quite a few men on that day, but so did the Camerons as they fired back. So that was the first shots of the battle here at Prestonpans on the 20th of September 1745. So as the night time drew close and the evening came in, General John Cope, both armies basically settled down for the night, but General John Cope's army stayed on high alert and he posted about 500 men on sentry duty. They tried to fire mortar fire across to the Jacobites, but the fuses failed to explode, so they, like I say, just stayed on high alert for that one. So that was the first day of the battle, basically, here at Prestonpans.
Yep. So, yes, the Jacobites had about 2,300 men, basic on several clans. There were the Athol Highlanders, the McLarens, of course the McGregors.
Oh, we're with it.
Stuart of Apin, Cameroon, Glengarry, and I pronounce that Chanard. So yeah, the Jacobite army had only been going about a month, and Bonnie Prince Charlie was an untested leader. But what he hadn't got in tactics, he had in enthusiasm and everything else. They were a bit like the Jacobite army tend to attack and then like a bit like commando type
Like
thing.
attack and retreat,
Yeah,
attack
yeah,
and retreat.
yeah.
Hit hard.
Guerrilla tactic.
Yeah. Like hit hard, retreat fast.
Yeah. Whereas the British would stand there in lines and fire off. So it was a test of which method would work.
Who would break first?
Yeah, who would break first. Yeah. There were on the Jacobite army. There were wealthy people, there were poor people. So the weaponry was mixed from dress wear and swords, or people had axes. So there was a variety of weapons and things, and it was just a test of who held out and who got the harder hits.
They were using Lochaber axes, broad blades, wooden poles, and even when Prince Charlie brought, or Charles Edward Stuart brought muskets over from France. Like I said, they hit hard, retreated fast, hit hard, retreated fast in the Island charge, but it was quite a marshy, so they could only attack on one side really, which broke Cox's line.
Yeah.
Right, the British Army had roughly about 2,100 infantry and 570 cavalry. Let me get my hand out of it. I'm on handholding this today, I've not got the gimbal with me. The British Army was a professional army paid by King George II. So there was campaign ready, and they'd been fighting in quite a lot of skirmishes and wars already. Most of the army, the British Army, was away in France fighting the French war. So basically just a skirmish force. I mean, it's a big skirmish force, like nearly 2,500, over 2,500 force. They was trained in hand-to-hand combat. They had the brown bess muskets and also the bayonets. So they was trained in hand-to-hand combat, but they never faced a Highland charge. They was used to fighting similar armies to themselves. In lines and in square. So they never faced a Highland charge before, which I think if a lot of Highlanders were running down in here, I think I'd be a bit scared as well, to be fair. But like I say, once this was boggy ground, they could only attack on really one side, which did break the lines.
And the cavalry had already faced the Jacobites at Edinburgh, and they come worse off. So they weren't looking forward to dealing with Highlanders.
Yeah, because natural cavalries are basically the medieval or the ancient way of tanks. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
Not many armies would win against cavalry, but on this sort of terrain, it happens.
The battle. The Jacobites emerged from Wigan Head defiled onto the plain near Sutton village, formed the battle lines, and as you can see on this map, you can see that to the northeast. The Duke of Perth commanded the Jacobite right wing, and his MacDonalds were the first onto the fields. Lord George Murray had the Jacobite left, and he anchored it in a ditch to avoid being outflanked. The ditch ran along the south side of the battlefield, right to left, so in front of it. Very close to the modern road. The two halves of the front line became separated, and a dangerous gap opened between them. Fortunately for the Jacobites, the Prince led the reserves into position covering that space. As the Jacobites deployed, the British Army rushed to arms and prepared to repel the upcoming attack. They formed in fields east of Wagon Way, now a walled path run through the field. The Redcoat Army had little time to contemplate what was coming their way. As soon as they were in position, the Jacobites surged forward, launching their attack along the whole line. The British cannons clustered at the south end of the line opened fire on the clansmen. Several fell. The Camerons were momentarily shaken by the cannon fire, but they soon got round that and pressed on their attack. And the sight of the Highlands charging was too much for General Cope's gun crews, and the sailors fled in disarray. Struggling for space at the side of the cannons, dragoons were all lost their nerve and backed away. These motions left parts of the British line closest to here vulnerable, and the oncoming Camerons, without the support of cavalry and artillery, began to crumble. So, in other words, they hit hard and it worked. The British troops started to leg it and were cut down while they were running. So yeah, chaos.
It's Camerons, by the way.
Yeah.
Cameroons.
All right.
It's on country.
Cameroon.
So, at the end of the battle at Prestonpans here, 20th of September 1745, the English, or the government, let's say, not English, because there was obviously Scots on both sides, but the government forces was absolutely destroyed on that day. The Jacobites routed them big time. At the back of me, you can't see in the distance, is Preston House. That's a walled, well with the walled gardens. A lot of the redcoats that were fleeing tried to hide, but they was captured and basically they were slaughtered. Absolutely slaughtered beyond belief. Where the railway station is down at the bottom, just at the other side of this playing field, John Cole managed to get the rest of his cavalry and infantry and fled the field after he realised it was over. There was no hope, they couldn't return to the battle. So we're going to leave this one here. I'll just give you a panoramic view of where we are, and then we're going to get back in the car and we're going to go into Edinburgh itself. So thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you in a bit. Just give you a panoramic view of where the battlefield was. Up there's where the Jacobite forces started, and down by the side of the Firth of Forth is where the government troops lined. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a bit. How nice is that?
Fantastic.
Edinburgh Castle. Look. Hiya.
Hi.
So we've come down from Castle, top of the Royal Mile there, or as surely called Canongate, but known as Royal Mile. Now, we've come all the way down to the monstrosity, I think it's a monstrosity, of the Parliament buildings.
It is a monstrosity.
I don't think it suits any purpose as in a structure, to be honest. But we've come to this beautiful, beautiful building, which is actually the official residence of Her Majesty the Queen when she's in Scotland. This is the Palace of Holyrood. There's also an abbey, Holyrood Abbey, which is, well, the house was obviously built afterwards. It was built attached to it. Yeah. This is the official residence of Her Majesty the Queen when she's in Scotland, although she doesn't normally stay here. She goes to Balmoral, as most people will know. But this is her official palace. I can't remember when it was actually built. I think it was built for Mary Queen of Scots, but I could be completely wrong. I usually am. These are the main gates. As you can see, they're absolutely stunning. I'm going to see if I can get you a picture of inside through this gates. I don't know how clear it's going to be. I shall try my best for you. I'm just going to turn you around. If you can see that there, that's a better picture, I think, of the Palace of Holyrood here at the bottom of the Royal Mile in Edinburgh. We'll have a walk around the front and then we're going to have a look at the Parliament buildings. Obviously I don't know if I'm allowed to film most of that. But they're the gates. I presume these main gates in the front, but I think if the Queen does come, she will come through this exit, this entrance, off the main road back there rather than coming down the roundabout and the Royal Mile. So I think there's a picture of, there's a statue of Edward, King Edward, over there. So we'll have a look around the other side.
Yeah, it's a fantastic palace. Just amazing. And it helps that it's a beautiful, beautiful day today.
Absolutely stunning. I can't believe how nice this day is to say it's the middle of November. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. As we're walking around towards the front of the palace, you've got some beautiful buildings. I mean, they're absolutely stunning buildings. The architecture here in Edinburgh is gorgeous. I've got to say, it mirrors none. That's the palace in the distance over there. Absolutely beautiful. And then they've got the Arms of Scotland, which is the unicorn. There you go. There you go. Zoom it in a wee bit for you. There you go. They're the Arms of Scotland, and the palace is in the distance. We're going to have a walk round. Look at that building, they're stunning. That's the Royal Mile in the distance. In front of me is the Scottish Parliament buildings. To me, I don't think they fit in that bad of buildings to this. And I think it's quite ironic that smack across road you've got the Queen's Gallery. Yeah. Yeah, this Scottish building, I'm not right sure about them, to be honest. I'm not quite keen on how they look. I think it's supposed to be modern architecture, but to say it's an old city, an ancient city, I think they could have done a bit better, maybe blended it in a wee bit more. Drop your opinions in the comments below and let us know. We're going to go into Holyrood Park now and a look at Arthur's Seat. That's a better picture from the other side of Holyrood House, the Palace of Holyrood House, I beg your pardon. Absolutely beautiful. It is a stunning, stunning palace here in Edinburgh. Gorgeous. And behind me, that massive hill is Arthur's Seat. We're going to have a look at it. Here at the very edge of Holyrood Park is a ginormous volcanic rock called Arthur's Seat. It is huge. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but you can climb all the way up with that, going up that little staircase, up that little path up there. There's a wee castle there, can't quite remember what that one's called. You can go all the way up, right up to the top, the summit. There's quite a lot of people up there today, to be honest. Absolutely beautiful. Now at the back of me, we've got the wee park, the Parliament buildings at the back, as I was saying earlier, and then this beautiful grassland with little fountains and a little lake, river, pond, whatever you want to call it, over there. Now this is the very edge of where we're going to get to in Edinburgh today, but I'd like to thank you all for watching.
Yep.
Right. Please keep following, please keep sharing. Until next time, Jay out.
See you later.
See you later.
Yeah.